episode of Mic'd Up with Mello and Big Country, now on YouTube. How about that one? We are still brought to you by the great folks at Mid-America RV. Why work from home when your office could be in Yellowstone? 2021 will be the year to rediscover the outdoors. Mid-America RV is your gateway to adventure with a diverse selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, teardrops, and toy haulers. They have the right size vehicle. They have the right size RV for any vehicle, all covered by their exclusive RV warranty forever. Game days, remote work getaways, and family vacations are all better in an RV from Mid-America RV. Experience travel like you never have before. Find out more at midamericarv.com. Big Country, welcome to the show. We had a great Monday night football game. I will say, daylight savings time sucks ass. At the same time, I've put together back-to-back great nights of sleep because I just get tired early.
Yeah.
And then I'm waking up before my alarm.
I don't want my body getting used to the new time. Like, I like being at 10:30 and going, I need to go to bed.
Yeah, it's
and then I'm asleep before 11, and I'm up at 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
It is, but I know that like by this weekend I'll be used to it already. Also, why are we still doing daylight savings time?
I really don't understand. I don't get it. People say it's because of farmers.
Of the farmers, so they can wake up early, get their stuff done, and they have all that daylight. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Farmers, sleep in a little bit.
Like farmers can't realize, okay, it's
Start
this
at
time
8.
of the year. Yeah, we need to get up sooner.
I'm sorry that you have to wake up at 7.
Does it just make you feel better knowing that you're getting up at the same time, but the sun's at a different spot?
And like 100 years ago, maybe it was necessary. Maybe I'm not a farmer and it's still necessary.
Well, it's weird how everyone does it except Arizona's like, nah, we're on our own.
Yeah, this is stupid. We're not going to do it. I think there are more states now, too. I'm not.
Also, why is it a state thing? Why are states like, yep, we're following this, or we're not?
You know, time zones are stupid as well. Like, they make sense, but like some of the lines, it bothers me that it's not just like a straight line. Like that we didn't use whichever one's longitude or latitude. Longitude.
Yeah, longitude up and down.
North, south.
Yep.
Use one of those bad boys.
Yeah.
And like, here's the Eastern time zone.
I think they do, don't they?
Nope. It's jig-jag. It's all fucked up. The more you know about time zones. I also want to talk to somebody who lives on the line. And be like, what is it like when you have to go to the grocery store in a different time zone?
Ooh, that's
or
a
if
good
you're like,
question.
hey, we'll meet at this restaurant at this time. Are they just so used to being like, yeah, I'll meet you there at 7 Central? Oh, gotcha. I know how to do that.
Huh.
That really blew your mind just then. You
had
had never thought about that a day in your life.
No, because even if you have like an iPhone and you cross that line, the phone's like, oh, we're over here. Let me fix it for you.
Yeah.
You be thinking you're late for work and you're like, shit, I'm an hour early.
Yeah. Like you almost have to, like the old school like newspaper places on TV, they would have the 4 clocks.
Yeah.
You almost have to do that in your house. You're going 2 clock system.
I'm coughing because I'm just so shocked by it. I'm stunned. I also think a bug flew in my mouth.
Well, yeah. So that's that.
Excuse
That's
me.
time zones. That's talking time here on Mic'd Up. But we also had a football game. And what got me thinking about this was my great night's sleep. I was not able to stay awake for the entire game. My old ass got too tired, fell asleep. But we did have a Steelers-Bears game last night that was a really good football game that got overshadowed by the referees last night. A taunting call that I think we maybe need to talk about, and maybe we have a different perspective on this one too. Last night, Cassius Marsh, he gets a sack, does a celebration, and then stares down the bench. I think it was weak. It's a stupid call. However, that's the rule. So I know that a lot of people are reacting to it today, and they're like, oh my God, this is so stupid. It is. It's a dumb rule, but it is the rule. And this is not week 1.
Yeah.
We've been doing this all year, so I think that it goes back on the player. Now, like the bumping into the referee and then getting the call, that's different.
Yeah.
But if you're a player, it's week 9. You
And
have to know, like, I can't do this shit anymore.
And he wasn't looking at the Bears sideline, right? It was the Steelers sideline?
Yeah, he was looking at the opposite sideline. So it
So
was
then,
the other team,
yeah.
but still. That's where I come in. Like, if you want to do your little karate kick celebration or whatever it is that he did, I think that's fine. But then when you start staring down the other sideline, you kind of have to know. And like,
you have to be well aware of it. But at the same time, it's like, okay, now we have to worry about what direction I'm facing when I cheater. Like, that's going to be the comeback to that. Well, right now, yeah, we kind of do, which it does suck. Like, I agree that it's a dumb rule, and that the fact that it's up for interpretation on the refs to be like, this wasn't. I like this player. I don't like this player. I like this team. I don't like this team. And whether refs like, oh, I don't care at all. Bullshit. You've been doing this long enough that you have favorites, you have players that you respect, and you have others that you don't. Like, there's a referee
like we
in the
talked about in
NBA.
basketball. Like, like James Harden's going to get calls that like a Ja Morant's not even going to get.
Yeah.
It probably is the same in the NFL. Like, if J.J. Watt does that last night, nobody cares. Not T.J. Watt, sorry.
Yeah.
If T.J. Watt does that for the Steelers, we're like, oh, my God, that was such a great play by T.J. Watt.
I mean, he did have a sack, and he did the whole leg kick celebration type of deal. And I was like, that's just T.J. being T.J., Defensive Player of the Year right there.
I do think it is. I mean, it's when you start bringing in the other team and looking at them. Like, was it taunting? Yeah. Like, sorry if you don't like the rule, but for me, that's the rule. Yeah. And so the ref, it was stupid the way that it was called. And, like, him doing the, like, hip check into the player, like, that's bad. So that's where I do draw the line, and I'm like, that was stupid. If you're going to throw the taunting penalty out there, fine. I think it was warranted, but you got to do it immediately. And, like, why are you, like, almost purposefully running into players?
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing, Tony?
And I'm sick of the NFL, too, because and I think Cassius Marsh was even saying this in his post-game presser, if he runs into the ref, he's going to get fined. He's going to get suspended.
Yeah.
It's going to be a huge penalty. Well, what happens when the ref runs into a player? Like, he should be fined or suspended a game. Because it was, it
was clear as day. It was like, hey, I'm going to hip check you. Or, like, booty check you, really. Maybe Tony was interested in Omar's.
It's like some of those guys that you see in the bar, and it's like, okay, you can tell they're here for trouble.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, whoops, why'd you bump into me? I'm like, fuck off, man. Like, you clearly bumped into me.
Yeah.
Stop doing this. That's what
when
it
I
seemed
go
like
full
last
Canadian motor. It's like, dude, I know you're trying to pick a fight. I'm trying to have a good time with my friends. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you bumped into me.
I don't know what I'm like anymore. I'm getting old.
Yeah.
I'm getting old, so I don't put up with a lot of shit. But at the same time, I'm getting old, so I don't want to have to deal with a lot of shit.
That's why sometimes I just have a seat.
Just catch me. It depends on the situation.
This did happen to me a couple nights ago at the bar, and the bartender comes up and was like, hey, I saw him bump into you and bother you. Are you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I just don't know why he's bothering everybody. Because this is a guy who's also throwing straws at the girls on the other side of the bar. So he's being real obnoxious.
I don't think I was there for that.
You weren't. I walked in, visited some other buddies, and was just hanging out. Drinking Dr. Pepper. Because I told myself I was done drinking.
Because you're taking a break from drinking.
I was taking a break.
Then we had our tailgate at Pitt State.
And that was 12 hours straight. And I think I'm back. Wasn't
back
long.
On the wagon? I think that's the way you
I don't even know.
I think if you're not drinking, you're off the wagon. I think there's a Seinfeld joke about that.
I just need to be in a better spot of like on or off. Or not as often.
Everything's fine in moderation.
Yeah.
Now, moderation sometimes looks a little differently. I'm a Thursday night drinker, so I'm going to drink a lot on Thursday nights. I never have my daughters on a Thursday night.
Yep.
The other 6 days of the week, possibility. But on Thursdays, I know that's my night to drink. So on Thursdays, I'll drink a lot to where some people could look at that and think, this guy's in here every Thursday. Why is he drinking so much? It's the only night of the week I drink.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Unless we have a tailgate Saturday.
Right.
Or we're in Nashville, then it's like bam, 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 bam.
Right. And that's why, a little bit of moderation. I am also trying to cut back for a little while.
Yeah.
I'm not doing like a no drink in November or, sober October or any of that
I made it
stuff.
5 days.
Wow.
Pat on the back.
Wow, maybe.
It really makes me sound like I'm an alcoholic.
It does a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Because I want to say that I'm not, but,
Maybe just get some help.
Maybe.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe I'm a bad influence.
You don't think I'm an alcoholic, do you?
No, I don't think so.
So then that's all that matters. Screw anybody else.
How about some more football talk, though? Russell Wilson surprised us yesterday with a little social media video. I think it's crazy that in this era that we're still able to have, like, quarterbacks break news via their social media.
Yeah.
Like, the team didn't report this, but he puts out a video pretty much saying that he's back, he's ready to go. I was very surprised to see this come through on Russell Wilson's social and not like an Adam Schefter or Tom Pelissero or any of those guys. But it appears that Russell Wilson is going to be back healthy. we were just talking about that. I had no idea he was even close.
I didn't either.
And
I
maybe
also wonder if this is him just overruling the team, where he's like, yeah, hey, I'm good to come back. Like, no worries.
It sounds like he got doctor's clearance, though.
From his doctor.
Yeah, but the doctor that did it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think the Seahawks are going to be like, no, don't play. I mean, there's so much momentum on this is Russell Wilson's last year with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And I know you were early on it, in on it. I was kind of like holding back, didn't really think it was going to happen. I thought they'd kind of smoothed everything over. But even now talking about Odell Beckham, no one this was a confusing thing that maybe it was just my dumbass, but he actually hit waivers yesterday at 4. I thought teams had until 4 yesterday to make a claim, but he hit waivers yesterday, so now teams can claim him.
Is there a reason they had to do it yesterday?
It was when the Browns designated it. Okay. Like we knew it was coming, but they hadn't officially cut him. Then they did. So now teams can put in a claim for him. Pete Carroll was talking to, it sounded like maybe the Seahawks would be one of those teams.
He did. He's like, I guess we'll see.
And I think it kind of goes back to the Seahawks might know that this is Russell Wilson's last year. And that after, this season, he's going to be moving on, that he's going to force his way back out. I mean, he tried to last year. He can say whatever he wants to the media. He can put out all the statements. He tried to get out of Seattle last year.
Yeah, and then Matt's been very vocal about it on Twitter, too, with like this guy gave a list of like 4 teams that he would be interested in going to. Mm-hmm. You don't just do that and go, actually, I'm happy here. I'm happy in this relationship. Mm-hmm. This is working out great. But
no happy married guy says, yeah, these 4 girls became single.
Like, if you die, this is who I'm going after. It's like
that's a slippery slope. Don't play that game. Mm-mm. It's not a good game.
I'm smart. I got questioned on that.
Oh, I think everybody has.
Yeah. And I was just like, nobody.
My answer stayed true the whole time.
I did the whole, if we broke up, who would you date? And I said my ex. And there was like,
you said that?
What the fuck? And it was like, she would be my ex. And she was like, oh, my God, that's so sweet.
Oh, you're a dumbass.
Got your ass.
Look at you. I always said, no one. I would never date again. I would never get back into a relationship. I've been close a few times, and then I sabotaged the shit out of it myself. This is not going to happen. Sorry, you got too close. Now it's time for you to leave. I'm a terrible person. Wait,
so you've actually kept your word on that?
I have. And even when we were going through our divorce, my ex-wife and I were fine now.
Yeah.
But even when we were going through our divorce, she was like, are you ever going to marry again? And I said, absolutely fucking not. I would never, never remarry.
Yeah.
I've stayed true to that as well.
Yeah.
I just don't think that it's in the cards for me.
Well, if you're self-sabotaging it, no.
Yeah.
Too close. Bye.
I know. It's,
bye, Felicia. But at the same time, though, if you're in a spot where you're able to self-sabotage it and they don't come back, it's not meant to be. So it's not self-sabotage. It's just how it's supposed to go.
What's that old quote? Sometimes you have to set it free. If it comes back,
if you really love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours.
They don't come back.
Fuck them. Not yours.
Yeah. I am a much nicer guy than I think I'm painting the picture.
You are very much a nice guy.
I'm very upfront.
Now, do you find reasons to be like, nah, done talking to you 100%? Mm-hmm. Like white socks? Maybe that's a little... Yeah. That's iffy. Not to
Tweets
call you out,
about being by myself when I'm in fact not by myself, that will do it. Not sending a text message to check on people when there's been a terrible tornado in the area, that will also do it. If you ever need advice on how to sabotage
but here's
a
the thing
relationship.
With that situation, you had your kids. Sorry that hey, here's my priorities. Right. They're taken care of. You're not one yet. Understand that. If you want to become one, stick around for the next tornado.
And no one will
I'll
ever
be sure to check
above that level.
As they shouldn't.
However, I did mention during this, I was dating somebody, there was a tornado, everybody had to take cover. I failed to text or check on the person I was seeing. But I had also made comments of I was, texting the people that I work with, make sure they were okay. And then it was, you texted other people that you work with, that you care about. I didn't get a text.
So that's new information to me.
And that's what Russell Wilson is doing with the Seahawks. He is self-sabotaging himself with the Seahawks, where he's putting out list of teams, and maybe it happens. I'll tell you, last offseason was pretty exciting, so I'm about it. I hope that he forces his way out of Seattle. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to Seahawk fans, But it's just, I love the drama. I love the chaos.
It also feels like that era is kind of over with anyways. Mm-hmm. Like, it feels like it's been coming for a little bit. Like, we've seen it. Like, winter is coming.
Yeah, I wonder if Pete Carroll sticks around for the rebuild. Or if he's going to be like, you know what, Russell Wilson's gone. This isn't really going great. I'm going to bounce too. I don't want to be here for, another rebuild. I had my quarterback. We got our Super Bowl.
Well, that and the fact he's done. 70 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much longer does this guy want to be coaching in the NFL?
Right. I mean, the fact that he stuck around for so long anyway. I mean, but he's in such great health. Yeah. I would never guess that he was 72 years old.
And he's having great conversations, like with Russell. I mean, we saw the clip that I kind of went viral last week where he's on the sideline with Russell Wilson, and he's talking to the refs like, hey, did you see this? I saw it, like, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, this dude's still very involved with everything going on.
I love Pete Carroll. I think he's a great coach.
I've loved him since USC. Like, even when they were playing Texas, I was like, man, I kind of like Pete Carroll, though. Like,
yeah, and what they built there. I mean, he would still be great in college, too, if he wanted to go back there. Like, maybe he retires from the NFL and he says, you know what, I'll go back. Maybe he takes the USC job. How about we piece that together?
Yeah, I wanted that.
Yeah, maybe Russ forces his way out and Pete Carroll says, you know what, last run, let's go back to USC.
Let's rebuild that.
Let's see what's happening there. Now I can actually pay players. And he would be great at it. They were already really doing it at USC. So now he just has sponsors. It doesn't have to come out of the athletic budget or his contract.
That would be incredible.
Hey, SoFi, I need some money for this recruit. Let's get his mom a house. And it's perfectly fine. So I think that's wonderful. Maybe that does happen. I would root for it, and heard it here first. November 9th. We're calling my shot.
10 a.m. Central Time.
Yeah. And the last little bit of NFL news that we missed yesterday, not a happy story, but Damon Arnette gets cut from the Raiders. Their 2 first-round picks from the 2020 draft have both been released within the last couple weeks now. Their top pick in that draft was, of course, Henry Ruggs. We've talked about what happened there. And now Damon Arnette. And we had a busy weekend with our tailgate. So I didn't see this on Saturday, but video started kind of circulating. And there was video of him threatening to kill someone and like saying, come through, I'll seriously kill you. I'll really kill you, with so many guns, like a lot of them. It's some pretty cool looking ones too. But you can't do that in the NFL. You can't threaten to kill someone, especially right now with what the Raiders are going through.
Yeah, I mean, here's a list of things that happened to them in the last month. October 8th, first Gruden emails leak. October 10th, Gruden coaches versus Chicago. They lose 20-9. October 11th, more emails are leaked. Gruden resigns. November 2nd, Henry Ruggs is charged with a DUI resulting in a death. Ruggs was also cut the same day. November 6th, video shows Damon Arnette flashing guns. November 8th, Arnette is cut.
Yeah.
That is a brutal month to be a Raiders fan.
And, we've kind of been waiting for it to fall off on the football side of things. This weekend they lost to the Giants, so I think maybe now we are starting to see like there's just too much going on around the facilities within the locker room. That they have, a loss to the Giants is not good, and now they're going to go and they're going to play Kansas City. That's going to be they host Kansas City, so that will make it a little bit better. But that's still, a great rivalry in sports, and especially in the NFL too. So we'll see how they rebound from that, but I do think that this is almost kind of a message to the rest of that locker room, and maybe it needs to be like verbalized. Maybe you need to have a meeting and say, we're not going to allow you to fuck up.
Yeah.
If you do, your ass is gone. Like, we just cut 2 first-round picks. You cannot be out here posting videos on social media. Like, you almost have to have a meeting and say, hey, we're going 0 dark 30.
Yeah.
Promote yourself. I get they have their sponsorship deals and stuff like that, but you've got to know better that you can't be posting shit like that on social media.
And, like, the person that needs to stand up and say that it's Derek Carr. And the PR team's probably looking at him like, hey, man, like, why haven't you said this yet? You've been great in front of the media. Do it in the locker room, too, please, because there's only so much we can do. Or apparently they need to rehire an entire new PR staff because they're doing an awful job. But at the same time, I shouldn't say that because you can't control the players on what they do off the field, especially when you just got knuckleheads out there.
And, a lot of this goes back to the draft. And with Henry Ruggs, he was a very good talent. Obviously, there were some maturity issues there, but I don't remember any of that really in the pre-draft process.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes up. And with Damon Arnette, it had definitely come up. And there was no reason for him to be a first-round pick.
No, everyone was stunned by it.
like he would have been a reach probably in the second round as well. Like third round, you start to look at it and you're like, okay, maybe you shouldn't have drafted him here, but it's whatever. You get your guy. But to be a first round, that was a terrible draft pick. And not just because he had struggled on the field at Ohio State, but he also had a lot of off-field baggage at Ohio State where people said he wasn't mature enough and that, they kind of predicted something like this would happen, that where he would mess up and eventually get cut, which he did. And then it came out yesterday after we stopped recording that in like a month's span, he had wrecked 4 rental cars. And we were kind of talking about, like, how do you even do that? I have been in one accident my entire life.
Yeah.
It was a bad one.
Knock on the real wood, too, there.
Yeah, but
yep, attaboy.
It was bad. Thank God I was okay. I'm still here today. If you're doing it 4 times within a month, I question whether or not that's intentional.
I mean, same. I also wonder what kind of like car wrecks these are. Are they fender benders? Is this guy like in his garage trying to back up but drives forward through the, into his house? Or is it just like I can't back up and I hit a mailbox, I hit other cars?
Did he bump into a shopping cart at a Walmart?
Exactly. Did he run into a giant yellow pole that's in the middle of a Walmart parking lot? We understand that. Go to Pittsburgh. Thing has its own Facebook page.
Not anymore. They removed it. There used to be a pole in the Pittsburgh, Kansas Walmart that had been hit so frequently it had its own Facebook page.
And like it wasn't just hit. Like cars would ramp up on the son of a bitch because they'd go flying around.
I remember seeing a TikTok of a guy that was like ramped. It was pretty viral too. A guy had ramped up on a pole at Walmart and was trying to get off of it and like put it in reverse. The truck lands and the airbags deploy. I'm pretty sure that was in Pittsburgh, Kansas.
I wouldn't be surprised.
If not, it was a similar pole to what was going on there. But I mean, for the Raiders, such a just crazy time. And I kind of feel bad for him. Yeah. And I also wonder how much of this is, Mike Mayock. How much blame does he take on this one? I know a lot of people have come out and said, like, John Gruden had control of the first round and that he was in control of a lot of the picks, or at least had a lot of the say. But when you look at a lot of those first-round picks, it's been very bad for the Raiders. And this is not my Chiefs fandom coming through. It's just those are facts. Guys like Cleveland Ferrell, Henry Ruggs. The Ruggs situation may be a little bit different, but even I still think he was a little bit disappointing on the field too.
Yeah,
he was a first receiver taken in that draft.
And he was starting to come on, to be a bigger role in the offense this season. So it was looking like, okay, hey, they're kind of getting everything figured out, and Ruggs is finding his role and developing more into it, which is good. And you like to see that if you're a Raiders fan, and then it's all just coming down very quickly, and it's not good at all. So it's a situation of, was this Gruden or was it Mayock making those early round picks? Because that's kind of the rumors out there. And if it was Gruden, Mayock's like, okay, hey, now I actually get to go pick the guys that I want on this team. It's been a bad look. I'm taking blame for it, and it isn't. Like, these aren't my guys. And if he is the one that's getting to do the draft picks later, I feel like he's hit on some of those guys. Like, yeah, these are guys that can come in and play and are reliable, and we can use.
Yeah, I hope that Mayock gets another year, because it does seem like that maybe he was more of the title of GM than the actual GM with John Gruden there.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting at least to see what he would do with a draft without John Gruden there. Obviously, we know of all the like big name guys. They were searching for like. What's crazy is that it used to be like we want a guy from a big program, good character, and a winner. I think it's safe to say you kind of struck out on the good character side of things there for a while with a couple of these guys.
Yeah.
Even so, I don't know. Maybe Mayock can do something different in the draft. Maybe he gets another year. We'll see. I think a lot depends on how this year finishes out for the Raiders. Now let's move on to something different. But first, let's get to our sponsors. You love those transitions. Huh?
It's like, because I just need you to clap and then roll into it, and you clap and then go. Then go.
That's the way I was taught to do it. So
you're
you
fine.
have time.
It just cracks me up watching you clap and then go. All right, reset. All
right. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
No,
here we go.
No.
Now let's get to something different. Was that quick enough for you?
That was perfect.
Is that what you wanted?
That's how quick I like it.
Well, I want us you to go to Miners and Monroe. Check them out. One of our great sponsors. I was very impressed with not only the tailgate and them partnering with us, but also a really cool concert that we were able to go to on Fridays. I hope that we get to more of those. It's getting a little cold, but I think maybe next year that's something that I'm definitely going to frequent, as do I, minersandmonroe.com. Go there, check out their inventory, use code MICEDUP10 and save 10% off at minersandmonroe.com.
Yep, gunspot.com is up next. Be sure to visit gunspot.com for all your gun and ammo needs, including accessories as well. Also, it's not a matter if, it's a matter of when you need to be in a spot to protect yourself and or your family.
And I'm not going to make any Damon Arnett jokes.
You shouldn't. But I also wonder if that's where he went, was gunspot.com, because those are the type of guns they have that are pretty freaking cool, and they have the accessories to add to it.
But you gotta practice gun safety.
Yeah, don't point it at the camera.
Say you're gonna kill people with it.
Yeah, while pointing it at the camera.
That's where we draw the line. It's a pretty easy line to not cross.
It's like when you show a cow. You just show it sideways and like, this is how it looks. This is nice. You never shown cattle?
No. I'm sorry, Big Country. I have not ever.
Yeah, they want to see it walk on the side view. Yeah.
No, you totally lost me there. I think your analogies may be correct.
I feel like it is.
But
if
also,
it's not, I'm sorry.
Why did you look at me and you're like, you've never shown cattle? When the fuck?
Yeah, I guess.
Would I have ever shown cattle? However, I was an FFA in high school because everyone was. And if you're not familiar, FFA, Future Farmers of America.
Yes, sir.
That's how country we are. And you still managed to stand out above the rest as Big Country. I was on the poultry judging team.
Yeah.
In FFA. And our ag teacher was absolutely fantastic and convinced 4 of us guys like, hey, fellas, just go. You get out of school. You're going to spend an entire day out of the classroom. Just go. We'll put you on the poultry judging team. We got to this ag event. And nor did my team members know. We had no idea what poultry was. It's like, what are we here to do? And then finally he was like, it's chickens, fellas. You're going to be judging chickens. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we know nothing about this. And then he just looked at us like, but you're not in school, are you? Like, all right, let's go. I had no idea what I was doing. That ended very terribly.
I think I did soil. And like that, they just take you out to a plot of land, and it'd be like you'd have to judge the elevation, like how level it is, all this crap. I didn't learn a lick of it.
Yeah.
By the time that my ag teacher was like, "Hey, study this and learn it," we spent just talking and having a good time. And when we got out there, it was like I would find other kids that also had no idea what was going on, and we would just sit there and be like, "Hey, it's been a minute since we picked C. Let's go ahead and write this down." Because they'd give you the old Scantron card and, like, here's your answer on this plot.
I barely even remember a lot of it. Like, it's been 17 years for me. But I barely remember. And I think there were, like, 4 different stations that we were supposed to go to, and we couldn't find 2 of them. So we only finished half of the competition and spent the rest of the time just dicking around. It was a great time, though. I still know nothing about chicken. I know that it should be white when you cook it, not pink. That's about as far as I get.
You don't cook your chicken medium rare?
No.
Yeah. You should try it. It's pretty good.
Good joke, you. No, you're going to make people sick because there's going to be some dumbass out there that does cook theirs medium.
Yeah, that is a joke. Just fair warning, I guess. We need to put that out there. Precaution. Right? That's a joke.
I cook everything medium to medium well. I have a sensitive tum-tum. So I know that there are the people out there who are like, oh, you have to cook yours rare. Or they're like, just slap it on the ass and walk it by the fire and I'm good. Not this guy. If it's anything.
I don't think I've ever heard that one.
Wow.
Slap it on the ass and let it walk by the fire.
That's another.
I've always heard the
kill it, slap it on the ass, walk it by the fire. That's good enough for me. Which so many people eat theirs that way.
I've always heard I want to hear it moo. I was like, that's weird. It's been dead for a minute.
Yeah. I can't eat anything under medium. Sometimes medium, depending on the place, is too bad.
Yeah, I want it medium, just so there's still a little juice left in it. Just a little bit, not a lot.
And now, like burgers, you can order your burger how you want it cooked.
Yeah.
Why would you ever choose ground beef to not be cooked all the way?
That's kind of
maybe I'm a monster, but well done.
That happened to us in Nashville, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like, how do you want this cooked? And I was like, what?
But also,
unless it was a steak burger.
I don't know if you were with us that year that we went to Nashville. But we went to a very, very popular burger place that's right there on Broadway. And they ask, how do you want your burger cooked? And so that might have actually been the first time anybody had asked me that question. So I was like, medium? I don't know. I honestly, maybe I'm dumb, probably am sometimes. I didn't know like what the levels were. Like, is it the same for a steak that it is for a burger? The answer is yes. So they meant you're going to have some pink on this burger. We get our burgers, a couple of my friends and I, and had all ordered a medium, but they were like rare.
Yeah.
And we ate rare cheeseburgers. And I got about halfway through and was like, I can't do this anymore. This is weird. It's gross. I don't like it. And we all three finished our burgers. All three of us got incredibly sick from it. Incredibly sick.
How long ago was that?
2-3 years ago. Probably 3 years ago. Or more. Shoot, it was probably 3 or 4 years ago. But yeah, I mean, it was just terrible. So now, no shame. Don't care. I will order my steak medium well. I'm ordering my burger well done. I want no pink. No pink on that burger. I am traumatized.
On the burgers, we want no pink, yeah.
PTSD on the burgers. Yeah, I want a little char on the outside, actually.
I can't do the char. Like, when people, like, grill hot dogs, and they're like, oh, man, these are the best ones, and they're, like, completely burnt and black. It's like, sorry, I don't want a crusty-ass hot dog.
Mm-hmm. I like, a little char on my dog, too.
So a little bit, but not a lot.
Not a lot, but sometimes.
There's some people that just have that whole outside just coiled in it, and it's like, nah.
I have a Blackstone grill, one of those flat irons, which is really cool to cook a lot of things on. Hot dogs and brats are not one of those things. Yeah. It gets so hot so fast that, like, if you touch a hot dog to that flat iron, it explodes. Yeah. And then the inside is, like, still cold. It's a terrible, terrible time. But what a weird
I don't also
transition.
Know how we got on that conversation.
Who knows?
It happens.
It's going to be a random show today. It already has. But a little bit of college sports news as well. I wanted to get to a couple of college football notes. These are two things that we missed yesterday. But Washington head football coach Jimmy Lake has been suspended 1 game without pay because he slapped a player on the helmet, which if it would have stopped there, I think he's probably fine. Mm-hmm. Like, that's hey, don't do that, apologize. But then he also pushed the player after making a penalty. So the slap on the helmet and the push, he gets suspended for 1 game. And it's going to be a tough go of it because I think Jimmy Lake was already starting to become on the hot seat. That seat was heating up. I don't know if he survives the rest of this season. We'll see how it goes. But you just have to know better that you can't do that. That a lot of players aren't going to respond to that. Some players will respond to you yelling at them, and that's just that's the way some players respond. But pushing them, slapping them on the helmet, not a good look. Yeah. Not really a place for that anymore. Like, sorry, the Bear Bryant days are over. Kids can have water, they can take breaks, and don't put your hands on them. That's should have been the way that it always was. Sadly, it's not. Sadly, it still happens today.
I mean, the thing that I have here with Washington is, like, I feel like they were competitive a couple years ago, and then it's just all come crashing down in every way. Like, they're not winning good games. It's not a good look in terms. And now you have this. Like, what does Washington do moving forward? Like,
yeah,
like how many more chances I shouldn't say how many more, but like how many chances does he get here with this? Like, this is kind of one of those deals where, like, yeah, it shouldn't happen, but I feel like a lot of people can look at it like it's not that big of a deal.
And what's crazy with this stuff sometimes with these contracts, sometimes there are some outs in there that if you do something wrong like this, they can say, we're not paying the rest of your contract.
Yeah.
So if he was already on the hot seat and Washington decides, oh my, we don't want to pay this contract, we were going to fire him anyway, they could fire him with cause. And I don't know that you can fight it. Like, I think it's at Tennessee, they tried to fire their coach. I can't think of his name, but I can picture him. They tried to fire him with cause over the McDonald's cash bags. And they're having a damn hard time doing it. So, but with this, I mean, you put your hands on a player.
Yeah, and first time I saw it didn't look that bad. But this time now that I'm seeing it, it's like, hey, that's not like that's a full on, pretty much punch to the face mask on this guy. Like, get out of here.
Right.
Like, that is not a professional way of handling that at all.
Yeah, I think there are some differences where, with a player, sometimes you got to remove them from a situation. Like, if they were fighting and you push him out of the way, you're almost doing him a favor.
Yeah.
This was not one of those situations
No.
either. The player had already been like done and gone from an unsportsmanlike penalty. So like that happens. It wasn't anything terrible. But then, you know, when your coach puts his hands on a player like that, that's where you really draw the line and say, no, you can't do that. It's unacceptable on almost all situations. And then in other news as well, Florida quarterback Anthony Richardson, he's so popular. Like everybody wants to see him play. And we didn't get to see him play on Saturday. And I think what makes it worse is that Florida got absolutely rolled by South Carolina. Their coach, I think, is now on the hot seat. And then we find out yesterday what actually happened with Anthony Richardson. He got hurt on Friday night in the team hotel by dancing.
What kind of dance moves were you doing, Bob?
Yeah, right. Dropping it low, twerking, threw your back out. It was a knee injury. So, like, I've cut loose on the dance floor before.
Yeah.
I don't have the best knees. I can understand getting hurt, but, like, what? Also, why are you dancing in the hotel? Was this dude, like, cutting some TikTok videos and sprained his knee? Like, what? I need to know more of the story. I also saw a fantastic tweet that was like quoted, and it said Emory Jones is like, no, I bet you can't hit that dance move. And then Anthony Richardson, yeah, I bet I can. Now he's hurt. So I don't
So
know
this is all on
happened
Emory Jones. This is wow.
Maybe so.
Man, what a way to have to explain that too. Like an injury of like,
It's just
yeah,
like-
coach, hurt my knee. Like, could you imagine being Dan Mullen just chilling in your hotel room, getting ready, doing any type of last preparation,
And
just
getting that call or text like, hey, you might want to come to room, 113 or whatever. Anthony hurt his knee. It's like, oh shit, he hurt his knee. And then you get there, you're like, son, what were you doing? Pop, lock, and dropping. You know how I be, coach.
Is it the Dougie where you're doing like the backward step walk and then you kind of like tuck your foot behind your knee and drop? And then I wonder if it was that one.
I don't know. I think that our listeners should probably let us know what dance move was Anthony Richardson doing when he got hurt. Maybe the moonwalk?
Was it the sprinkler?
Is there no? Nope.
Not
There's
the
not enough leg
No,
movement
what's
in
the
that
one where you grab your foot,
Maybe
hand behind the head?
You don't know who Kid and Play is. The Kid and Play dance. There's a lot of footwork in that one.
I don't know that one.
You've never heard of those two people, have you?
Kid and
I was going to say you don't even know that they are two people. I could have said Kid and Play.
I thought you said Kitten Play. To be honest, like cats.
Maybe it was Kid and Play.
So it's Kid,
KID, and Play.
Oh, it's Kid in, not even in. Kid and Play. What the fuck?
The more you know. Check out that haircut.
Is it a white dude with an afro?
I think he's mixed. Light skinned brother. With a one hell of a haircut.
Boy, that is.
There's a
That is up there, dog.
There are movies too. They were in some movies that I watched at probably way too young of an age. But that's what older brothers will get you.
Dude, I used to wish I could grow hair like that.
Still do.
Yeah. Never went away. It's still dreaming.
No,
it's
about
gone.
A little bit more. Yeah, Kid and Play. I don't know.
Dude, how like as a barber, you just have to.
Yeah, you're just gonna keep it going up. Keep it going up.
That's incredible.
I mean, people are out here having surgery on their femurs to get taller. He was just like, no, I'm gonna let my hair grow.
Dude, I mean, you can't wear a hat or nothing. Like
no, you can't.
He's just gonna have it backwards.
You look like that kid from what was like Hey Arnold.
Yes, that's what I was getting ready to go.
Same haircut. I think I've seen cartoons of him with a hat on. But also other Kid and Play news. College basketball starts tonight. I didn't realize this until yesterday when you also realized it. But now I'm all in, and I'm pretty excited about the start of college basketball season. I said last year we were doing radio still, and I said this is the year that I'm going to get back into college basketball. I used to be a huge college basketball fan. Like college basketball would have been like my third favorite, I guess, sport, you would say. Like college football has always been one, and then the NFL is the NFL. They're always going to be up there. But then it was college basketball, and then like NBA baseball, and went kind of down that list. But I haven't paid attention to college basketball in so long. And now with the way that it's played, it's so hard to keep up with who's coming back. But now, this is an odd year because I do feel like I'm very familiar with a lot of the players that are coming back.
Yep.
and some of the big-time recruits that are playing this year. So I'm pretty excited. I'm not going to make any commitments to say that, like, I'm back into college basketball, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try real hard this year to stay up to date with what's going on with college basketball. And especially with, like, now that baseball's over, there's a void in my TV watching experience. So I fill in with.
Is that something we need to do this year then, is pride ourselves on being college basketball fans?
I'll try.
Like, we need to talk about it at least twice a week?
I'll try. I am excited about it, though. And like I said, knowing a lot of the players that are coming back, even like I was reading some of the previews. I won't pretend like I'm there yet. I just found out yesterday that the season was starting today. So I'm not an expert. But looking at some of these teams, it's like, oh, okay, I know who that is. Obviously, like Drew Timme, I've talked about him before on this podcast. I love him. I love watching him play. And then Gonzaga also adds one of the top prospects in recruiting in Chet Holmgren. He's like 7 feet tall, 190 pounds. I want to see what kind of player he is because I watch his highlights. I watch some of his film, and I don't understand how he's good at basketball.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he can even walk. He's so skinny. Like, if you think Kevin Durant is slim, Kevin Durant looks obese compared to Chet Holmgren. That's how slim this dude is. So I want to see how he can move. I want to see if he's a good shooter. And you're going to have Timme, who's like 6'10", 6'11", and Chet Holmgren, who's listed at 7 feet tall. Those two guys on the same court for college basketball, what they do offensively might be scary, but having that length on defense is going to be unmanageable for some of these teams. I think that they're going to run through their regular season and conference play undefeated like they usually do, which will probably land them the number 1 seed come NCAA tournament time. But I want to get a look at those guys playing together. I want to see what Kansas can do. And there's so many guys that have transferred this year.
Yeah, like Kansas has a big matchup tonight against Michigan State at 6. So that's something to watch.
Duke and Kentucky play tonight. I think those are 4 of the best programs in college basketball history.
Yeah.
I think Duke,
it's
Kentucky,
always weird
and
seeing
Kansas are solidified. Those are the 3 top programs.
Yeah, it's always weird seeing Michigan State, but then at the same time, it's like they're always in it.
Yeah, Tom Izzo always has his guys ready to go. I think one of the things with Michigan State, or at least it used to be, is that they scheduled such tough opponents during the regular season that they were never ranked like super high. They weren't like that undisputed number 1 team because they would play teams like Duke and Kansas or other tough opponents. But then come tournament time, they always make a solid run.
Yeah.
And so that's why Michigan State, probably for me, if I'm listing like the top 4 programs, like my Mount Rushmore of college basketball teams, it would probably be Michigan State, mainly just because North Carolina is not as good as they used to be.
Which kind of stinks.
It does.
But I feel like North Carolina is also that school that comes at it, like, I shouldn't say out of nowhere, but like has a good year, and they've just kind of, to me, it feels like they've just snuck their way up there. It's like, oh shit, like here's North Carolina.
Yeah.
Or there'll be years where you don't hear about them.
And we'll see what they do this year. No Roy Williams at North Carolina. We'll see what happens there. I think Villanova is another program that's been very good of late. And then, again, just looking for like names that I know. Colin Gillespie. How the hell is that dude still in school? I feel like this is year 6 for him. This is like that dude, Perry Ellis for Kansas.
Yeah.
Gillespie's the new Perry Ellis. Because I feel like he has been in school since like I stopped watching college basketball and was like, oh, this is getting out of hand. I don't know any of these players. He was still playing them. And it's been a little bit of a hiatus for me since then. And then just going through a couple more of these teams. I put it on our Instagram. I was kind of talking shit about it a little bit yesterday. I think Texas might legitimately be a basketball program now.
It's tough to argue it, honestly.
And they're another one of these teams who they're bringing in a lot of transfer guys. So they're bringing back some solid talent from some of these guys they had last year, but they're also bringing in Marcus Carr from Minnesota. That's a name I recognize. But then also Timmy Allen from Utah, won't pretend I know who he is, and Trey Mitchell from UMass, won't pretend I know who he is. But I know their stats looked really good last year. And now if you're adding that, some veteran guys with some of the talent that they already had, might be time to just go ahead and turn that attention to Texas basketball.
Yeah, I mean, you said it yesterday. Texas, I mean, the football season might as well be over. And I think we're on our way back from Nashville or somewhere, and it was a graphic had been posted by the University of Texas. I was like, hey, here's all the top-ranked programs for the university. And it was like every ongoing sport except for football was ranked in the top 25. And then we saw Texas at 5 for basketball. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But here, I shouldn't even say jumping on the bandwagon, but I'm all about it this year. Big game tonight against Houston Baptist Huskies.
Look out.
Huskies, you better get out of the way, bub. These horns are coming in hot.
And I know we mentioned it yesterday too. People always talk a lot of shit to me about Texas basketball, and I don't even care. I know last year, again, we were doing radio, we were talking quite a bit of college basketball. Our guy, Mark Etter from Downtown Lube, is a huge Kansas Jayhawk fan. And there was a bet made between Texas basketball and KU basketball. I didn't care who won that game. Like, I don't like Kansas at all. But it wasn't like, oh, I'm a Texas fan. I have a big rooting interest. I don't. I am a Duke fan.
Yeah.
I kind of have a Duke tattoo.
I mean, you do.
It's like a double meaning thing.
Yeah, but you still got it.
Right,
like,
but there's
it's
a
the
Duke logo
yeah.
on my body. And it is probably going to be there forever, unlike Dead Dan, who's the inspiration for that tattoo. But I'm still... R.I.P. I still think I'm a Duke fan.
It's okay to have two teams.
It's weird, though, because when Coach K moves on after the season, I think they're going to struggle. I don't think they're going to be the same Duke teams that we've been used to. Not unless they're still finding ways to pay.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you think of Duke, you think of Coach K.
Yeah.
Like, Coach K is his own entity right now.
Yep, and they bring in a big-time recruit. They've got some other guys returning as well. But we'll see what can happen after Coach K does move on and what happens there in Durham. But I'm excited about college basketball. I want to see what happens with it. I'm going to try to be more involved in it and really paying attention to it. But I also made some promises last year, and I did not hold up to it. So we will see what happens with college basketball. But either way, excited about the season that just absolutely snuck up on me yesterday. I can't believe that it's not more talked about.
Yeah, I mean, the first game airs on ESPN 3, Manhattanville at Manhattan, 2 p.m., ESPN 3.
I'm going to question if you have those teams right.
That's what it says, Manhattanville at Manhattan.
Weird.
Yeah. Why is there a Manhattanville?
Is it New York? Is it Kansas? Is there more than one Manhattan?
You got the wrong guy.
Well, is there more than two Manhattans? I know there's the borough in New York City. I know there's the Little Apple in Kansas. There can't be a third one.
I don't know.
Or maybe the third one is Manhattanville, and it's probably just someplace in South Dakota.
Yeah, the first game that's not on an ESPN 2 or 3 or ESPN Plus is Kansas and Michigan State at 6 tonight. Everything else is on an awkward channel.
Manhattanville College is in Harrison, New York. The more you know.
That is just ridiculous. Hey, what are we going to name this? Where'd you say it was in Harrison?
Harrison, New York.
Do we want to be Harrison University? Nah. Manhattanville.
There you go. And with our keeping up with the Kardashians theme, let's get to a little bit of NBA basketball talk too. But first, a mention of our great sponsors at Club 609. A great spot to go and watch the game casually. I know that I'm there most Thursday nights, as we talked about at the beginning of the show. It's usually my night out, and I usually end up at Club 609 enjoying myself some of those 2-for-1 drink specials and $2 draft pours at Club 609.
Yep, next up, Downtown Lube. Be sure to visit them at downtownlube.com for their full list of services. Mark Ed and the guys pride themselves on getting you in and out on the same business day. They do specialize in tires and lube, but they are much more than that. So again, be sure to visit them at downtownlube.com and just give them a call and tell Mark we said hey.
And after Kansas gets their ass kicked tonight, he might need just a little bit of a pick-me-up.
He might.
Very, very good possibility that does happen tonight. Again, very excited about college basketball. How long will it last? That should be a bet. How many weeks do you think I make it excited about college basketball before I'm just I'm not watching Iowa versus Illinois?
Well, it depends on the success of Duke or Texas, ultimately.
Yeah, probably will.
Are there any other universities that you can pay attention to that keep you excited?
Gonzaga.
So,
Gonzaga used
you'll
to
be fine.
I'm old enough that I can remember when Gonzaga was just a small school sweetheart. It's like, oh, look, who did a really good job in their conference.
Who was
and
the
who's
weird
in the tournament again?
The weird, tall, long
White
hair
guy?
Yeah,
Adam Morrison.
that's right.
Yep.
I remember seeing him because that was like what?
I feel like
05,
he
06?
was the first like kind of big time star that they had, to where it's like, okay, Gonzaga actually has a player now, and I think that he was maybe one of the first ones that was big time. But they even before that were one of those small school teams. That was hard to say for me.
Spit it out there, Tommy.
That would make a little bit of noise in the tournament, or that you would always find them in the tournament. So back on the like Mountain Dew bottle caps, that was always a team that I wanted. You're not old enough for that one, are you?
The bottle caps? Oh, I remember that.
Why don't they still do that?
I don't know. But I loved it where it was like, hey, new bottle caps are being rolled out. Go get it. Call, like, it was, I think for me it was like, call in this code. Like, this is the number you call.
Oh, okay.
Here's a code you give.
So I'm talking about something different.
Oh.
Back in my day, you could go buy a Mountain Dew or a Sprite, and there might have been some other ones too, like maybe Pepsi and Coke were involved too. But for me, Mountain Dew and Sprite are the ones that I really remember. You could go and you would buy the bottle, and obviously, and on the bottle cap on the underneath, there was no code. There was a team, and then you would save it. And if they won, you could turn in your cap and win a jersey of that team. So like if you go buy a Mountain Dew, untwist the cap, and it says North Carolina on it, you saved it. And if North Carolina won the championship, you could turn it in for a chance to win a North Carolina jersey.
That'd be amazing.
Absolutely fantastic. Through March and April, all I drank was Mountain Dew because I was looking for bottle caps. I was hunting for like Duke bottle caps.
And
but
that
now
would work
now
out
it is
great.
like, oh, call in this code or whatever it is. It's stupid. Go back to
They
the
should
old school.
definitely restart that because that would be fantastic with NIL deals. Like, hey, if you win a national championship, like, we're going to sponsor your whole team.
Yeah, or even, put some players on there. Even.
Yeah.
Like, it was so much fun. And part of it, like getting me into even March Madness and stuff, was that excitement of, okay, it was like McDonald's Monopoly. Maybe it was rigged, and that's why it stopped.
Probably.
But it was very exciting that I would just live off of Sprite and Mountain Dew through the whole month of March. And maybe even, I think it like started in March, and that's when you would start collecting your bottle caps. The amount of bottle caps that I used to have, I had like a container for them.
Oh, you were that invested.
I mean, invested. Also, I was a little shithead, and what we would do is we would go to, for us, it was a gas station, and we'd go there, and maybe the reason why I know it was Sprite and Mountain Dew, you can kind of see through it. So you could tip the bottle and be like, oh my gosh, I think this one says Duke. Or a little shithead, untwist that cap, see who it was. Nope, put that one back.
This dude.
I was like 8 years old.
You're the reason I had freaking.
Yeah, I'm the reason why you had to put in a code. And I apologize for that. But it was.
I'm over here drinking flat ass Sprite. Like, Mom, this doesn't taste good. It's fine. No, it's not.
I think somebody opened this. No, they didn't, Austin. Like, just drink it. It's fine. No, I 100% did.
That is the best part, though, of like opening a Sprite bottle and like hearing the psst, like any of them, like Dr. Pepper. Man, which ones do we just kind of want to sponsor the show? Let's just throw them out there.
The fact that Dr. Pepper isn't sponsoring some portion of my life is pretty dumb.
Yeah. I think you got a whole trash can over there, Dr.
I
Pepper
think
bottles.
this
dude doesn't drink coffee. He doesn't drink energy drinks. He drinks a shit ton of water. You see the water container right there on his desk.
Every day.
And other than that, it is Dr. Pepper. That's his caffeine.
I drink one a day. I drink one in the morning to get my caffeine.
You legitimately do, yeah.
Some people have like their morning coffee. I drink a DP.
And people might look at that and be like, dude, that's just so bad for you. What do you think fucking coffee? You think coffee's
Look
just
at your
stellar?
Red Bull label.
Yeah.
See how much sugar's in that. I know it's not good for me. Neither's your coffee. Neither's your energy drink. So lay off me.
Nothing's good for us anymore, except for Dr. Pepper. You visit a doctor once a day.
I have been drinking more Coke Zero, though, which is probably still incredibly bad for you.
Yeah.
But it's zero sugar.
That's rat poison, isn't it?
Probably.
No, that's diet. That's anything diet. Coke, I mean, Dr. Pepper Zero is just as good, if not better.
You think?
Like you're saying Coke Zero. You heard of Dr. Pepper Zero? It's got the black cap.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's got like an oaky taste.
This dude.
That's how I drink.
It's got a what?
I swirl it. I smell it. I hold it in my mouth so I can get all 23 flavors.
Dude won't drink whiskey because he doesn't like it.
I can't.
You sound like Matt drinking whiskey. Like, it's got like a... It's kind of got like a nice little taste to it, like a maple. It's not as maple. That's why I like this one. I don't even know what
I
the
like
fuck
to go to
means.
like wine. No, I don't like to go, but sometimes I've been forced to go to wine tastings or stuff like that. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm going to be that guy who's obnoxious and is just making fun of everyone else.
I actually like going to wine
swirling
tastings.
it way too much and spilling it.
I have
taking
a blast
huge
out of
just sniffs of it, gargling it in the back of my throat. It's
then
really
doing
it's a fun time for everyone.
Really just pressing it on the taste buds. So it's the only way you can get the full flavor of the wine. It's just that. And if you hit them with the barnyard, I guess that means the wine's nasty. My roommates and I, we had girlfriends in college, and they wanted to go to wine tasting. We wanted to look up the slogans or just phrases of wine. And if you say barnyard, that means it's nasty.
That sounds like a safe word.
So it was
Are you sure somebody didn't lie to you?
Man, I've gone this far in life thinking it meant something.
I hope it means something so ridiculous you can't even say it on the podcast. Chances are with you that it might.
So barnyard, you will often hear people describe a wine as having barnyard aromas or related terms like horsey, manure, animal, etc. This literally means that there are aromas that smell a bit stinky. Some people like a bit of Brett in wine and others don't. Da-da-da-da-da-da. But barnyard means it's nasty. Doesn't smell good.
It smells like shit is what it sounds like to me. All right, let's get to some NBA news. Just when I think we're done talking about Ben Simmons and the 76ers, he just keeps pulling us back in. So this is our Keeping Up with the Kardashians segment. I wonder how many days in a row we're going to go with having one of these. I feel like this is number 3, right?
Yeah.
Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Three episodes in a row.
Kardashians stay winning.
Ben Simmons now is going to meet with 76ers team doctors, and I guess this is a move so he doesn't get fined. I know we talked about it yesterday, like I've said, but I thought that it was okay for him to get to go to his own doctors. Like that should not even be like in question, I guess, especially when we're dealing with mental health issues. It's not like he's got a sore knee and he says, "No, I want to go see my doctor." Even then, you should be able to do it.
Yeah.
You should be able to go to an unbiased doctor and get that information regardless. Like, it's your body. And, I'm sure that these team doctors are very good at being impartial, where they're like, nope, he shouldn't play. But I would still want a second opinion on a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, if they're saying, no, your knee's fine, you don't need surgery, go play, I'm actually going to check with somebody else who's not affiliated with the team. Or, even if they're like, no, you definitely need surgery right now, let's do this. Let's pump the brakes. I'm going to go check with somebody else. You should be able to do that. And with your mental health, I feel like it should be the same thing. If you're having problems and you need somebody to talk to, you should be able to go to somebody that you're comfortable with, regardless of if they're affiliated with the team or not. Like, I would almost want them not affiliated with the team. I don't want you messing with my mind.
And I know I said it yesterday. It was like, hey, like maybe with this, like you don't want to have that biased relationship to the team. But I also feel like this far into like NBA teams, like being able to, provide doctors or like maybe like mental health, like psychologists or anything like this, like I'm sure there is the understanding of, hey, like we're gonna help pay you, like like we've pretty much got your clientele right here. They're on the team, okay? Mm-hmm. Treat them like anybody else, unbiased. I'm sure there's that separation there of like, hey, don't do this in a benefit of the team. You're still your own deal. You know what I mean? Your own situation. You're
taking an oath as a doctor. So
yes.
I feel like they got to be pretty unbiased.
So I feel like it's just kind of hard for me to go, which one, like what side are they on? But at the same time, we know some people are just shitty.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. And if he does want to go, if he's more comfortable going to someone else, then he should be able to. But I also feel like team doctors and, psychologists, counselors, anything like that are in a mindset of we're not trying to screw you over.
And not to feed a fed horse with the Ben Simmons stuff, but I also wonder, is it really mental or do you just not want to play?
Yeah.
Because with a knee, if you're like, I don't really want to play,
and it's almost tough to like question that in today's world.
Yeah, like you probably shouldn't.
You don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, it's like, how much of this are you nursing?
Yeah. With guys like Ben Simmons, with Kyrie Irving, I think a lot of people question it. I don't think that, I'm alone or you're alone in that one. I think you wonder, like, what's really going on? What's the motivation for you to play? Is there any?
Yeah.
You know, if some of these other guys come out and they were to do it, I wouldn't question it because I see their desire to want to play. They're not trying to work their way out of a situation.
Yeah.
Like, and last year with James Harden, if he would have been like, no, I'm not mentally prepared to play for the Houston Rockets, I'd have been like, oh, okay, yeah, you won out.
Yeah.
But, you know, if like a guy like Giannis who's happy in his situation is like, I need to take some time off. Or in the NFL, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Who's like, I need to take some time away. Okay, get right,
Yeah.
get healthy. I'm not questioning like whether or not he wants to be out on the field playing for the Falcons.
Yep.
It feels like that's a different situation for him. And then another guy we were talking about yesterday as maybe a potential trade partner with the 76ers was Jaylen Brown of the Celtics. And then again, almost immediately after we stopped recording yesterday, Jaylen Brown, it's announced that he has a hamstring injury, and now he's going to be out 1 to 2 weeks. So I think that we were starting to get some steam and some momentum on. Maybe Ben Simmons gets traded, and then it all comes crashing right back down.
It's kind of interesting. Whereas, like, you're going to trade me? Hey, this hand is acting up.
Oh, it's tight.
This is tough, man. You're going to hate to see this timing. It's just brutal to see it. That's how I immediately thought of it.
Yeah?
It was like, this dude doesn't want traded. You can't trade an injured player.
Right.
He's going to be out until Ben Simmons is traded either to the Celtics for another package. This also might just be the Celtics going, hey, bub, we don't want to trade you. Things have been like, just have a couple weeks off. You're welcome. Still getting paid, everything. Just have a seat.
Yeah. I mean, I hope a trade does happen soon. As I said yesterday, I wouldn't trade Ben Simmons. I wouldn't trade Jaylen Brown for Ben Simmons if I'm the Celtics. But if I am the Celtics and like they're thinking about it, I'm jumping all over that.
Yeah, like if I can trade other people. I mean, you want to keep a Jaylen Brown. You want to keep a Jason Tatum. Marcus Smart?
Yeah, but that's probably not enough for.
It might not be, but you trade away Marcus Smart.
And I think the 76ers.
Is Al Horford back? Is he with the 76ers or with the Celtics?
He's making a lot of money, though. He's with Celtics.
Send him back to
They probably don't want him back. But even with Jaylen Brown, I think that the 76ers are they're going to fleece somebody. They're going to try to fleece somebody.
They always
and being
do.
like, oh, I need Jaylen Brown and somebody else. Like Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. Or, you know, I don't have their roster memorized, but it's going to be something like that to where they want more. And I don't know. I just wouldn't do it. Maybe somebody like tweet at me. Let me know what is so special about Ben Simmons. I know he's good at defense. He's a good distributor. He's a good rebounder. But homie can't shoot. And we saw him fall apart in the playoffs. So thanks, but no thanks. Like I'd rather get a different player in there than one of those guys. So I don't know. And then I don't know if you were able to see this one last night. I didn't watch a lot of NBA last night. I was watching Monday Night Football. But I like what I saw out of Nikola Jokic last night. Because he looks like, you know, just this big, kind of bland, boring guy. Not too overly aggressive. Doesn't show a lot of emotion. And then last night playing the Heat, Markieff Morris, who I think he's kind of a cheap player, kind of a I don't know if I want to say dirty player, but he's going to take his little cheap shots.
Yeah.
Last night he takes one on Jokic, who's bringing the ball up like he usually does. He's at about half court. And Markieff Morris of the Heat kind of gives him a nice little shoulder check, a hard foul, definitely. And then Jokic just bullies him over. He gets ejected. Morris gets ejected. But I like that he's finally like, you know what? You're not going to fuck with me in this league.
Yeah, I'm MVP, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Hey, suck it. I don't care. Pick one. All right? I'm done playing with it. And Markieff Morris, he plays for the Heat right now, so it's like, you're with the Heat. But at the same time, I've never been able to stand this guy.
Either one of them.
Like, even his brother when they were at Kansas.
Right.
I hated him. They have the most punchable face ever. But the thing is with these
they're
guys,
just always doing stupid shit like
they're
that.
crazy enough to start the punches first.
Yeah.
And because it's like they know. It's like, we're not going to get picked on. We're going to pick on everyone else. So if we get hit, we're crazy enough to fight back.
Yeah. I think last night watching that clip, because, again, I wasn't watching the game, but I've seen the clip enough times. I think it's hilarious to watch the Miami Heat players and their reactions.
Yeah.
Because he just bullies over Markieff Morris. Jokic does. Nobody wanted to fuck with him. Like Tyler Hero's the first one on scene. No, sir.
I saw a clip before we came on, and it was like Jimmy Butler was completely unaware of what was happening, and he's running down the floor, and once he realizes it, he like runs into the mix and is like, what's going on? And like just kind of separates it, but at the same time is waiting to like, do I get to be involved? Because, like, Jimmy Butler, he's not a dirty, like, he's very aggressive. He'll speak his mind. I love Jimmy Butler with the Heat right now. It's awesome. But it's funny to watch that clip of him just unaware of anything going on, realizing it, and then getting in the mix, and then also going, hey, let's not get your ass kicked by Jokic.
Yeah, this is a business decision right now. And I think it was hilarious. Usually if something like this happens, and with Jokic, it was such a just blatant, aggressive shoulder check that sends Markieff Morris to the ground. Usually this is going to turn into a fight in the NBA, to where somebody on the Heat is like, nope, you're not going to treat my guys like that. And even like big guys like Bam Adebayo, like he runs up on it. He's not checking. He's not pushing.
He's just like, hey, take it easy.
Yeah, let's all calm down.
You're also like 3 inches taller than me. Still take it easy.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. So it was kind of cool to have Jokic kind of have that moment of like, this is my league.
Yeah.
You're not going to fuck with me anymore. You think you're going to foul me hard?
I just wish he'd work out a little more.
I think that's one of the things that's great about him. He has no definition.
None.
Nothing. He's not fast. Like he is strong, but like he doesn't look like he would be good at basketball.
No, but he is so good.
Like if you lined them up or you took a picture of the Denver Nuggets, their team picture, you would think that he was just like the 12th man. Like, okay, you're really big. We'll keep you on roster.
Yeah.
Nope. That's the MVP of the NBA right there. Dishing dimes and throwing shoulders into people.
This dude throws a shoulder like it was a punch.
He did.
Like, I'm watching the clip
it's like,
now.
How much can I get away with so I don't get suspended?
I'm seeing more than just like the contact. Like, Markieff Morris like lowers his shoulder into his chest as he throws the ball away, and then he's like, fuck that, here I come. Boom.
Right? It's good.
Tyler Hero made a business decision on stepping into that and then going,
fade to the back.
Yep. There's Bam, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. And the NBA season really starting to get into it. We're about 10 games in now. Steph Curry dropped 50 last night. You'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Kind of a closet Golden State fan a little bit. I want to see him play well. Right now they're 9-1, and we still haven't had Klay Thompson come back. You know, we keep talking about the 76ers and everything's Ben Simmons this, Ben Simmons that. They're sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference right now. They're 8-3. They're playing very well without him.
Yeah.
Like I would think that almost has to lower your trade expectations. Like if we can just get another good player or two, we are solid here.
Yeah.
We are all set. But it's cool to look at these standings early on in the season. I like to do it. Another team that we've been talking about, the Celtics, they're sitting there at 4-6. They're way down there. The Milwaukee Bucks, they're way down there. I know it's only 10 games. It's just interesting to see who's hot right now, who's struggling, and to watch this just change throughout the course of the season.
I mean, like, even looking at the East, Philadelphia, Miami, Chicago. Like, they had a big win last night.
Bulls.
Yeah.
I hope they're good.
I do too, but it's going to be like, I just want it to be Chicago and Miami. I've always been like a closet Chicago fan, but I've never wanted to admit it because I didn't want people to be like, it's just because of Michael Jordan.
Oh, no. That was 100% the reason for me.
But like, I don't know. For some reason, that's like the one thing I just didn't want it to be because of.
Yep, the 100%.
But like Derrick Rose, I loved Derrick Rose. Like watching him get injured was just brutal to watch because I had his shoes. I got to go to Chicago when he was like just tearing it up, and everyone was like, "Yo, that's the building that he lives in." You know, sometimes we see him like he's just like one of us, like just walking around the park and stuff. And I was like, that's kind of crazy because there's a lot of you guys out here with just like, I just watched this dude steal a bike. Like, it's probably not his best decision if he's just roaming out here.
In Chicago, it was just a random guy, right?
Yeah, it was hilarious though because I'm sitting there and I'm just chilling in the park and they got like this, like next to the bean or whatever. And there's this bike sitting on a tree, and I watch this guy walk up, look at it, pick it up, make sure there's nothing on it, make sure it works, and then he just rides off. And then like 10 minutes later, a dude comes back, and he's just like looking around, like, "Where's my bike?"
And
I'm just
my bike?
From a distance, like, whew, I just watched that whole thing take place.
I know it was. You're never gonna find him.
Story. Yep.
This is Chicago. I went to Chicago when I was pretty young. And I've been back a couple times. I love Chicago, especially in the winter.
Yeah.
Ridiculously cold, one of the coldest places I've ever been.
Yep.
But there's something about Chicago in the winter. I went there with a girlfriend, and I was 20, and she was like 19. And just us walking around and being like, oh, no, it's fine. Let's take this alley. It'll be a shortcut. Looking back on it now.
Bro, you dumb.
Fucking stupid. We made it.
Yeah, still here to tell
but
the story.
At the same time, I really wish like somebody would have been like, hey, kind of a dangerous city. Maybe don't walk through alleyways as a shortcut.
Yeah.
Just walk around. Like, arrive alive, man. That's all you have to do. But it was a good time. I do find myself rooting for the Chicago Bulls. It is 100% because of Michael Jordan, though.
Yeah.
I was a big Jordan fan as a kid. I feel like most people my age at least rooted for the Bulls, or you were a diehard Bulls fan.
Yeah.
And a lot of that died when, in 98 when he retired. And, Scottie Pippen moved on and that era ended. But then when Derrick Rose came back around, it's like, okay, they might be good. Or I can remember when guys like Grant Hill were rumored to sign there as free agents. It's like, oh my God, this is exciting. And now with the team that they have, they're playing very well. It brings back a lot of that nostalgia of, oh my God, what if the Bulls are good again?
And like it's the guys that they have too that you wouldn't necessarily get super excited about. But like they've put together an actual team.
Yeah.
Like right now, and it's like, okay, hey, they're winning games. Not just because of like any one player.
Not because like a superstar that they have, but because it does. It looks like they have a good team. Lonzo Ball, I know there are probably a lot of jokes to be made about him, but I think he's a solid point guard. He's never going to be that like dominating scorer. I know that he was a top draft pick, but he's probably not going to live up to that hype. And now he's kind of living in his little brother's shadow. But I still think that he's a good point guard who can play good defense. His shot looks a little bit better.
Yeah.
But then Zach LaVine is like an underrated. I don't know if he's a superstar, but he's a
kind
star.
of becoming one. Like him and DeMar DeRozan both are averaging 26 points a game and playing a ton of minutes. And then Vucevic, who we liked from the Magic last year.
Yeah, he's another guy who's been very good, very underrated. He's like the discount Jokic.
I mean, really, though.
Dollar General Jokic.
Great value.
Yeah. And then Alex Caruso.
There we go. The White Mamba.
There's just something about watching a little scrappy, bald white guy out there throwing down hammers like he is.
It's the my player. When I play 2K, that is straight it.
If they scan your head, it just comes back as Alex Caruso.
100%.
And then you slap a beard on it.
Yeah. No fancy dunks because you're not athletic enough to do that, but you'll get the powerful one-hand slam in there.
Yeah, so I find myself rooting for a lot of different teams. Like, as far as teams go, the NBA is such a, like, I root for this player, root for that player. The Bulls are a team that I find myself rooting for. The Spurs, always root for them if they're good. Those might be the only two teams that I pull for. I know you pull for the Heat. You're like a Heat fan. But there are also just a couple others. Like Golden State, if they get things rolling and they stay humble about it, huge Golden State fan.
Yeah.
Soon as they start, celebrating too much, I
see them shimmies, the no-look shots. It's like, all right, F off.
Yeah, like with Steph, I like him. He's a great player. Watching him miss that like no-look shot or whatever, that turnaround, I laughed at it.
Hilarious.
I thought it was funny. Or, last year, was not last year, it's been a while. When he like threw his mouthpiece and hit a fan, I was like, oh, get him out of here.
Yeah.
Suspend his ass. Atrocious. Think of all the germs that are on that.
Erroneous on all counts.
Yeah, but then, last year I found myself rooting for him once again. That's just the ebb and flow of the NBA, I guess. But a little more news back to the NFL that kind of just happened. The Browns this year, they just can't catch a break. 4 Browns players have now tested positive for COVID-19 in the past couple days, including 3 of their running backs, Nick Chubb being one of them. That really sucks for me for fantasy reasons. It sucks for Browns fans too. Like, obviously, hope these guys are all healthy, but that's a big-time player. Demetric Felton and John Kelly. The only healthy running back that they have right now is Dearness Johnson. Rough go of it. I mean, it just feels like with the Browns, every time something starts to get rolling for them, something bad
Cleveland's
happens.
cursed, dog. The Browns are cursed.
Yeah, it's crazy. Coming off of a really good win, and then this happens. So maybe they can look at the waiver wire. I don't know. This is all just kind of happening as we record. Tom Pelissaro reporting it too. Maybe this is a situation where they're vaccinated. I don't remember what the vaccination protocols are, what the rules are.
I don't think anybody really knows. I mean, shit, look at Aaron Rodgers. Like they knew he was not vaccinated, and they're just like, man, just keep doing your thing until you get found out.
And with other players, it will be like, okay, well, they tested positive, but they are vaccinated, so they can play on Sunday. It's sitting here, we're Tuesday morning right now, so maybe with a couple negative tests, these guys can still play, or some of them can.
Yep.
But I guess silver lining of it is Dearness Johnson has been playing very well when given opportunities. So if you're a Browns fan, you hate to see this, and you hope that it doesn't become a situation in your locker room. At the same time, Dearness Johnson played very well.
Yeah. You're going to be okay. Like, that's the nice thing. It's like, okay, we have a running back who can come in and fill in. Hopefully he's just not the all season answer, and he's clearly not going to be.
When's what's his face going to be healthy?
He's still on the IR.
Yeah.
I think this is his third week, or maybe it's been a little longer. I don't know if the top of my head.
Currently on the injured reserve with a calf injury. So, yeah. But maybe they hit some free agents. Maybe some of these guys come back, like you said, and get a couple negative tests in there. You hope everyone's all right. But that is kind of news that was just happening right there at the end of the show. As always, make sure you check out our great sponsors at Roper Kia. Go visit them. Check out their inventory online. Our guy Matt at the Draft Scout, if you've seen recently, brought, what's it called? A Jeep Gladiator. Got it from Roper.
Yes, sir.
If they don't have what you're looking for, they will find it for you. And if you tell them that Mic'd Up sent you, they'll give you $1,000 off your nicer, newer ride. But as I said, that is it for us today, Big Country, and I will be back tomorrow with a lot of college basketball talk because this is a college basketball podcast. Now, I'm sure something will happen in the NFL that we have to talk about as well, but we'll be back tomorrow on Wednesday.